That's my boy.
So today I'd like to share a video with you that I pulled from the Fight Smart Striking Dojo, which is the stand-up fighting course here at Fight Smart, on the human weak points that you can strike and incapacitate people.
The goal is one strike, instant debilitation.
In an ideal world. So look, over the course of the past month or so, I've shown you a number of masters who can theoretically stab their students in the neck and knock them unconscious, or even telepathically knock people unconscious without touching them at all, yet fail to knock out a middle-aged female scientist simply because she didn't believe in the techniques that they were doing.
Well, you just hit me in the head.
That's weird. It usually works for me. The power of belief can be utterly toxic, which you can see as we watch a little old man knock out 40 of his students without touching them, and then get instantly destroyed when he faces a real martial artist. Your techniques should not depend on belief. Fighting is not subjective. Whether you believe it or not, if I blast you in the solar plexus, I think you might struggle to breathe for a second.
And if not, we'll just remember we're on the same team, you mutant.
So these are the human weak points as I know them and as I can prove to you. You strike these points on the human body, your opponent can and will be debilitated. And if you like what you see and if you like what you're learning, feel free to grab the striking course. I'll throw it on sale with the release of this video. So if you want to learn more about bashing people in the human weak points, you can feel free to check that out.
In the meantime, let's begin with Human Weak Points video part 1.
Alright, the first human weak point and the best one for causing knockouts is the chin, or more generally, the jaw. Now, you probably already knew that, but knowing why that's the case and knowing how to manipulate the jaw will allow you to knock people out much more easily. Now, there's a myth that goes around through boxing gyms, and probably will continue to do so till the end of time, that there's a cluster of nerves behind your jaw. When you get hit in the chin, your jaw slams into those nerves and freaks out your central nervous system, and then you're knocked unconscious.
But like a lot of the stuff that you might learn in a boxing gym, it's just not right.
Now, there is a large cluster of nerves deep kind of behind the jaw here called the trigeminal ganglion. However, it has nothing to do with knockouts. In fact, trauma to that area is extremely rare, even in situations where you eat a steering wheel or your jaw is broken. The most common cause for trauma to this area actually being during oral surgery of some kind. Okay, so this is not a source of knockouts.
So how's it work?
The tip of the chin is the absolute best leverage point that you can strike on your opponent's head to create rapid movement of the skull itself. So the skull goes flying back, that causes your brain to slam into the inside of the skull wall as it sloshes around in there. That is literally a concussion, and that causes obviously damage to the brain, a whole host of complications, and sometimes the short-circuiting effect that is a knockout. So a straight punch or an uppercut will cause the snapping back effect, which will lead to 1 point of concussion in the brain, but we want to cause as many as possible in as short a period of time as possible. Now, a hooking punch, or a punch that spins your opponent's head, will actually cause his skull to rotate around his brain, causing 2 points of impact, or 2 concussions, double the brain damage potentially, and of course the chin is the point that creates the most rapid spin because it has the most leverage over the head. Now, one of the secrets to knocking people unconscious is by combining the concussive effect of a spinning punch and a snapping back punch, if you will. So you need any type of straight strike into a hooking strike, or even an uppercut into a hooking strike. So if I wanted to do this from an attack standpoint, I might throw a right straight into a left hook. So the right straight snaps Steve's head back, bop, boom, and then I spin it and I get my knockout. If I wanted to do this from a counter-punching standpoint, I might go for an uppercut into a hook. So if he throws a jab at me, boom, boom, lift his head and spin it.
And then throw an absurdly powerful kick to the leg just for fun.
So again, you got straight into a hook, you've got slip uppercut into a hook, and even spinning the head the other way, you have a jab into a kind of overhand right or a hook. All those are going to induce 3 points of concussion and potentially knock out your opponent. Now, of course, setting those strikes up so that they're highly likely to land and you're not likely to get punched back, well, that's a different story. But whether they work or not, also get used to ripping a damn leg kick down low and striking the human weak points in your opponent's leg. Yes, they exist. We'll talk about them later,
as we continue to release Human Weak Points videos later this week. Here's another fun way to knock people out.
Now, one of the things that I do like doing is blasting rapidly out to the side of my opponent and throwing a cross on the way back. So if you watch the Superman punch setup from the other week, bam, that's a great way to get out here. And now this punch will actually spin my opponent's head, even though it's a straight punch. But just to interject, you might actually have to punch over that guy's shoulder in order to catch the jaw. It might not be a straight line. Now, of course, once I've hit that, I've spun his head. Now my hook is actually going to snap his head back. So in this case, the cross actually does the spinning, the hook does the snapping back. One way or the other, you have now 3 points of concussion within the brain, and that is most likely going to induce a knockout if we hit the guy hard enough, or even just hit him clean enough.
If you catch him right, it doesn't take much.
Now, both of the things that I just mentioned, that Superman punch, which blasts me off to the side, obviously covered in the striking course, and just blasting off to the side to throw that cross, are examples of taking attack angles, which is one of the most important concepts in all of stand-up fighting, and yet I barely hear anybody talking about it. It's what keeps you hitting that guy without getting hit back. It's what keeps you safe. It sets up your strikes and gets you out from in front of the guy. Unbelievable.
I suppose you could just stand there like some of the masters out there and see how that goes for you. I'm kidding, don't.
So look, if you want to learn more about incorporating this kind of stuff into your striking style, you're in luck, because the Fight Smart Striking Dojo is currently on sale for 75% off.
Here's why.
So this is the Trav just feels like having a sale. So look, it's been a while since I put out a new course on sale. My yay cool Nissan Xterra did just die. And who knew these little mongrels needed a new wardrobe every 40 days?
Damn you, baby Gap.
So let's have a fantastic sale.
Here's what you will learn and receive in this mighty package.
First things first, we cover the fundamentals. So your stance, distancing, all of the basic strikes. If you're an advanced guy, feel free to skip this, but you might miss some good stuff. Bottom line is, absolute beginner or not, everyone gets brought up to speed.
If you want to be a great fighter, you have to master the basics. Next, we begin to add the power, my favorite.
Once you have the basics down, next we add the power. Ridiculous, disgusting, fight-ending power in every strike you throw, and not because you have big muscles, but because you understand the science and the movement, kinesiology. I will even teach you how to throw a knockout jab, so you can put people to sleep with the fastest strike you can throw.
Power comes from technique, and having it drastically improves your odds of winning.
Once you have the power, now we add the movement that sets everything up and keeps you safe. So look, it's one thing to sit there and throw a powerful hook and get cracked in the face by whatever comes next, versus throwing a hook and moving to a potentially more advantageous position, or throwing a hook while moving your head and driving your body weight into the strike, which multiplies your power by 10 and helps you take an attack angle.
I'm talking about movement like this, setting up knockouts. I'd much rather have you facing a guy's back when you put him to sleep. In other words, the exact opposite of this. Pow! Now, once we've added the movement with an honorable mention to really cool sound effects, it's time to start tying this stuff together into brutal combinations that attack your opponent's weak points.
Next, this course is packed with brutal setups and combinations that you can just memorize and use to absolutely destroy your opponent. Stuff that I've spent years working on, and stuff that I've picked up from some of the baddest men on the planet. Like, how does Crow Cop set up that head kick that he's always decapitating people with? Or how does Mark Hunt just murder people with that overhand right? And how does Boss Rudin splatter people's livers on a daily basis? You will have piles of such brutality.
Modified for people of all levels, in case you can't kick heads just yet. Now, as much fun as it is setting people up with this stuff, we do have to build your defense. Let's bring back the music.
Having a great D allows you to relax and kind of take your time as you set things up. So we'll cover stuff like blocking, parrying, counter-punching, defending kicks. Hopefully you've seen what a good kicker can do to somebody's leg. If not, now you just did. So we'll snatch the dude's leg out of the air, take him down, and ideally snap his leg to pieces.
So if your opponent has a good technique, you just take it away from them with your savvy defense.
Now, a little training and practice is going to go a long way, and this course can be done with or without a partner. So I'll give you all the solo drills that I want you to do, the partner drills that you can do, a written workout that you can download and do to reinforce all of the skills every single week and get you in ridiculous shape.
You might as well build your abs while you build stuff like handstands. 2 birds with 1 stone. Ain't nobody got time for sit-ups.
Now, even though I feel like I've been listing stuff for 10 minutes and you could beat the crap out of 99% of the people you face with what I've already talked about, I take it a step further and I give you specific fighting strategies for very common situations that you might face. For example, what happens if you fight a guy who keeps running away nonstop? Or the guy who charges in and the guy who wings nonstop haymakers? Or what about the guy who tries to hug onto you? Maybe you hit him and he's dizzy and now he just wants to tie you up. Or what about the guy who keeps going for takedowns, the wrestler? How do you stop those takedowns and how do you get back up to your feet if you've been taken down so you can get back to the striking that you will have mastered? The strategy is the final piece of the puzzle. This is what separates you from any idiot with fighting skills. Now look, I know that might seem like a lot of stuff, and there's actually even more that I didn't mention because this video is getting ridiculously long. But look, you have your whole life to pick this stuff up and to train it. And in part, it's my job to make sure you do, and to make sure you stay on the course. So I have two really cool bonuses for you. And the first is a chance to work with me one-on-one in 4 coaching calls, aka webinars, in which we can hop on a call and you can ask me anything.
Anything relevant.
So if you have questions about a technique or if something's happening in sparring and you need a solution for it, or even if you just didn't see something in the course that you want added, I'll be happy to break it down for you. And that includes stuff like nutrition or dieting and cutting weight or bulking up and adding muscle, even abstract stuff like endocrinology. I'll be happy to give you game-changing information. The whole point being, if you're having any barriers or experiencing any hold-ups, I will personally help you to break through them and keep you on track. Now your next bonus is my MP3 striking system, which is usually in the shop for 30 bucks, but hey, I'll throw it in for free. Look, this thing is awesome. It's my favorite thing in the entire shop. You just press play, listen to the combinations that I call out, and do them either on a heavy bag or just on the air, and you'll get really good at stand-up fighting. It's as simple as that. And it gets your cardio up as well. You don't have to sit there and look at a piece of paper. It totally takes the thinking out of training. Just do the stuff that I say and get better. All right, so what's it all cost? Now look, this course is a condensed version of stuff that took me 15 years or so to pick up. And even if you trained at the best martial arts school in the known universe for 1 year, that would probably be around 1,800 bucks. If you pick it up that fast, great, but if it takes you 5, it's closer to 9 grand you'll end up spending. And of course, that depends on who your instructor even is and who you have available to teach you. I know that when I put this course up in the shop officially, it'll be for 300 bucks.
$297.97. Love 97s.
But look, in the spirit of cutting through all of the BS and all of the brainwash that's out there, and in the spirit of making the people who study my system the most unstoppable martial artists out there, I'm going to open up this course for 2 payments of 47 bucks for the next handful of days. Now, it goes without saying you get to keep everything forever, and that includes recorded copies of your coaching calls, so you have them for a piece of reference. You can access all the materials from any mobile device. You can download all the workouts, so you have this stuff with you at all times, and I'll even give you a 30-day money-back guarantee for any reason. So if you don't like the course, or if it wasn't what you expected, or if you're just not using it, it's fine. Shoot me an email in 30 days. I will refund you all of your money. It's not even a problem. This is how you become a great fighter, and this is how you build the ability to beat anybody that you face. I don't care what their skill level is. Competitive mixed martial artists, I want you to splatter them across the pavement, because losing certainly isn't an option. This is how you defend yourself and your life and your family and the people that are around you. And it's also how you develop the confidence and the demeanor of somebody who's stepped up and build the skills they want and become the fighter that they want to be. So click the button beneath this video, try out the striking course risk-free for 30 days. You got nothing to lose, and give me a chance to turn you into a beast on your feet. Yeah.